Good evening. Welcome back to IIRL. If you've been following us this week, you know that we have been doing the Russian Grand Prix. But for the time being, we won't focus on that too much. I'm sure Formula One fans up and down the country, indeed the world, have been saddened today by the news of the passing of Sir Frank Williams. I'm sure it's not just me that is upset by this news. Always a shame when we lose a great, whether that be a driver, way too early, like Senna, Rotzenberger, and so many others, or whether it is old team principles of constructors' teams. Certainly was a very good man, and the memory of him lives on. Good evening. Usually I pull the stream up just so I can check what's going on, but for some reason it's not working on my Mac or my phone, so if there are any issues with stream, please put them in the stream chat, because I have no idea whether the stream is working or not. You guys are going to have to tell me, okay? Yeah, I wasn't talking for a few minutes just because I didn't know if the stream was working or not. For some reason my computer, my phone, just decided to have a mental breakdown as soon as I start streaming. It makes no sense, but it is what it is. So yeah, any issues, please let me know in the Twitch chat. Weather is all dry for the sessions. I'm sure the drivers will be quite happy about that. It's a tricky enough track in dry conditions, let alone the wet. Of course, we are saddened by the news of Frank Williams passing away today. Our thoughts and prayers, I'm sure everyone will agree, will go out to the family. People like Frank really do leave their mark on a sport. Being a team principal for 50 years, winning multiple championships, constructors' trophies. And I'm sure the Williams boys will be hoping to do him proud tonight. Safe to say he will be missed. I'm sure many tributes will be happening on social media, and I'm sure for the Formula One next weekend in Jeddah, I'm sure there'll be plenty more tributes on F1 TV shows, so we won't focus on that too much here tonight, although we are in the eye of the storm, shall we say. Russell with a bit of a corner cut there, but I'll have to see if the steward takes any action. Hello to Alrays, Happy, Hyper, Philosopher, all in chat. If you've been joining us this week, you know that we've had 2 Russian Grand Prix. Tuesday for the no assist, Thursday for assist tier 1, today is assist tier 2. You can already see plenty of drivers popping in times. 20 drivers, full grid here tonight, so some drivers will head out of the session, the bottom 5 to be precise. We'll go on board with Alrays as he starts his flying lap. Massive 2-meter stretch between the final corner and what is turn 2 that Alrays has just gone through. The very long left-hander turn 3, completely flat out. Pick your braking point into turn 4, then run too far wide. Can spin, can invalidate the car, the lap time. Through turn 5, another 90-degree right-hander. Plenty of those on this track. Through this sweeping section of right and left. Line on the floor here is the DRS detection line, and that line there is the DRS activation for this very long back straight where overtaking opportunities are plentiful. Big action zone, pick your braking point for this very tight chicane, which does extend to the track, and an uphill off camber chicane, which is very, very tricky to maintain good traction throughout. Into 17 and 18, 2 more 90-degree right-handers. across the line, IIRL puts in a 1 minute 33.7. Currently won't be enough to see him through. In the championship so far, IIRL Appy, who is yet to set a lap time and still in the pits, leads the championship by 45 points. So a couple of race wins in hand. Over second place, IIRL Hyper, who is currently topping the timing screens in qualifying 1. So watch out for the continuing battle between Hyper and Appy. Zog now coming round as one of 3 drivers yet to set a lap time. Here comes Appy out onto the track. There you see him in the foreground. Take her easy is coming round the final sector now to start his flying lap, so we should get a pretty good understanding of what people's relative pace in a few short minutes. Good evening, Pajestic and Ross. Hope you are both well. Standing in for TD tonight. Unfortunately, his internet isn't playing ball. He's missed a couple of races on Thursday and a couple of streams on Sunday. But we're hoping that he can get a nice Ethernet cable that will allow his connection to improve. So, in the meantime, you have to put up with me for another evening. Hit 100 followers this week, which we're very, very happy about. And thank you all for your continued support. But we are up to 108 followers now. So we've seen a massive shift in the last week in followers. Zog across the line, and he goes P14, just a fraction ahead of Power Chris, who is, I believe, reserving for his debut tonight. Majestic, if you're in the chat, let me know if that is correct, but I think this is Power Chris's debut in the McLaren, teammates with Mark D, who currently finds himself in 11th place. Badger's back out on the track for an outlap. Great amount of people in the pits. We've got Supermac, Karma out on track, Zog just completed a lap, Hissy also out on a lap. Tadpole, Padge, IIRL's all on outlaps, take her easy. Propping up the timing screens with that one. I think it is 2, Russ, so we'll just say it, and if we're wrong, we're wrong. No harm done. Appy invalidates. And I'll tell you what, he's not got long to rectify that. Only 3 minutes left. Half the drivers out on track. Three minutes left of Q1. Can you hold your nerve? Get through to the second part of qualifying. We'll stay on board with IIRL Appy, the championship leader, hoping to make this lap count, saving his ERS at the latter part of the invalidated lap. Very smart thinking there by the Mercedes driver. And the McLaren of... I don't know. The McLaren of... I don't know. Doing well to avoid blocking the Mercedes. is crunch time, and you do not want to be blocked on a flying lap. We've got Supermac out on a lap. Karma's come back into the pits. Mark D, Alpha Matty, Power Chris all on out laps. Alpha Matty just starting his flying lap now. Tadpole, Ours, Take Her Easy and Appy all on flyers, so still a handful of drivers to watch out for. Hissy is in the pits, and with only 1 minute 47 left of the session, he doesn't come out in the next 5 seconds. Get the feeling Hissy will be leaving us. Zog is in the pits too, although he has just come out on track, so he will be tight for time, trying to get round in enough time. And Hissy is out on a lap also, an out lap. I'm not sure if Hissy will make it though to the line. It was quite late when he entered the track. Appy crosses the line, goes P12. Looks quite safe, although all of the bottom 10 are out on track. We'll join Chris for our first viewing of him in IIRL. We've got an Alfa Romeo of Ours coming around the final corner now. What lap time can he do? No improvement there, but he's got enough time to go for another run. So Ours will be one to look out for in a couple minutes' time. Alpha Matty improves to P13. Then comes the Red Bull of Padge, and he crosses the line to improve to 2nd place. Just missing out on the top spot by a few hundredths of a second, and Power Chris is 3/10 up through Sector 2. Zog did not get round for another lap. I think Hissy did though. We can just clarify in a few moments' time after Chris comes around to finish his qualifying 1 and goes P8. Nice lap there. So Zog is now out thanks to the hands of Power Chris. Hissy did get round to start a lap. Here comes the McLaren of Mark D round the final corner, and he improves to 6th. Clouded Tadpole into the pits, so he will be leaving us in this session. Also, Hissy needs an improvement, so does Take Her Easy and Ours. We'll join Ours. He is a couple of seconds down. Oh, and a bit of a collision with a wall, I think, there. So Ours will be starting last on the grid. Take Her Easy in a bit of a traffic jam here. Doesn't want to get blocked by Semp. Patch goes quickest to finish the session, flexing some muscles there perhaps. A couple of cars ahead of Take Her Easy here, who one of them's coming into the pits, one of them comes around, I think that was Chelsea, to improve to 11th. Take Her Easy can't improve his position, improves his time, but we'll be heading out of this session. And Hissy also has had a bit of a mare coming out of the final corner, and no improvement for him, and you can see the damage to his front wing. So there we have it. And as Lil Semp enters the pits, we say thank you to Lil Semp for following. Follower number 109. Leaving us this session, Ours, Take Her Easy, Hissy, Clouded Tadpole, APS, Zog 45. Alpha Matty through by 0.02 of a second. Oh, I do apologise. It's Lil Simp's father who followed, so thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. There you go, Alrays, Take Her Easy, Hissy, Tadpole, Zog, all leaving us in this session. Making it through by the skin of their teeth is Alpha Matty. Maverick, Semp, Karma, Chelsea, Power, Chris, all in the top 10. Top 10, Chris, Supermac, Dale, Appy, Mark, Russ, Spark, Ria, Hyper, and Padge. Currently, it's Red Bull 1 and 2, and both Williams making it through. Couldn't connect to laps as our race. Easily done on this track. Many places where you can run wide, getting validated. Curbs here are a little bit temperamental. Some of them will send you flying into the air like a Boeing 747. So you have to be careful about that. And of course, Q2 is underway, and this is where strategy takes centre stage. What tyres are each driver going to go out on? Mark is out on a set of the yellow mark mediums. Medium tyres are slower than the soft tyres. So you might think, well, why are they out on track? Well, if you get through to Q3, the time that you set, the tyre that you set your fastest time on, to get through into Q3, you have to start the race on that exact same set of tyres, and some drivers would prefer to start on the mediums. If you're not quick enough to go on the mediums in this session, you can always put on a set of soft tyres which do give you more grip and reduce your time, making you more likely to get through to Q3. However, you will have to start on that set of soft tyres. Just depends if the drivers want to do that or not. And in a few short minutes we'll know roughly where everyone's pace is at, either on the yellow or red mark tyres. Got 9 drivers out on the track. 6 still in the pits, but plenty of time, 13 minutes to be precise, left of this session. So Mark D kicks us off with the first flying lap of the session. Need to be careful through turn 2 and the exit curb. You can see a yellow, what we like to call sausage curbs in F1. Drive over that, you may get some floor damage on your car. Patch getting nicely out of the way there. Didn't see him coming, to be honest. Gave me a bit of a fright there, did Padge. Looks like a very tidy lap here from Mark. Pushing the track limits too much. But you do need a very healthy respect of track limits for this Sochi circuit. So here comes Mark, sets the benchmark. Ironic, no pun intended, but it just happened that way. 1 minute 33.1. Upcoming Karma beats him by a tenth, or less than a tenth. On the medium tyre, Appy 33.7 on the mediums. Semp goes fastest into the 1 minute 32s. I'm sure his dad will be happy with that in the chat. Padge is out on the soft tyre. That is interesting. Hyper goes fastest again on the mediums. And Power Chris goes second. Spark is missing a front wing, and he needs to find that front wing. I'm sure his team will be able to help him in the Alpine garage. I'm sure we'll see Spark out on the track very soon. Try and get a... don't know the word for it. An initial time on the board. As for Chelsea, he's on the mediums as well. Only 3 drivers with the soft tyres equipped. Alpha Matti in the pits. Padge, we saw him a couple of seconds ago, and Chris. Chelsea goes fastest. Nice lap there. Supermac coming through sector 2. Team Dale, Maverick, out laps for them. Everyone else on flying laps or on an in lap. Padge goes fastest on those faster soft tyres. Not too much of a shock there. However, he does go 1.1 seconds faster than Chelsea, which some may say is a shock. Hyper improves his time. P2 for him. He's on a 32.3 now. IIRL, P3 for him in the AlphaTauri. We went at 32.4. Russ is in P8 in the Alfa Romeo. We've seen one Alfa Romeo head out in Q1. Supermac goes P5, a couple of hundredths quicker than Chris on his debut. That's for Maverick. He's using the mediums like many other drivers. Spark back out on the track after someone stole his front wing. Maybe one of the marshals didn't like him. Bit of traffic ahead of Maverick here. I'm sure Maverick will be hoping either for a bit of slipstream down this back straight or for them to get out of his way. Padge does just that. Very sportsmanlike. The other Red Bull of Hyper could perhaps have been given slipstream by Padge, however gets out of the way there. Uppy's out on track, as is Tierney Dale and Maverick, all on time laps. Everyone in sector 3. Maverick goes P12. Tierney Dale, bit of traffic in front of him, but goes P3. That's a good lap with IIRL ahead of him. So, Spark. Let's see what the Alpine driver can do. Sorry, Semper, I haven't been catching too much out in the chat, but Ross is there to answer your questions. If you have any questions about our league, feel free to pop them in the chat. One of the people already in chat can answer them, or indeed I can answer them. Driver getting out of the way. Looks like Tierney Dale. Alpha Matti in the pits. He had to set a lap time. 6 minutes left of the session, so I'm sure many drivers will be considering putting on a set of those red mark soft tyres, especially I'd say those from 8th place downwards will probably consider putting on set of those soft tyres, seeing if they can go a bit quicker to guarantee their spot in the final part of qualifying. We'll see where Spark stacks up. Will this be an electric lap across the line? And he goes P5. Russ, we saw him back off on Spark's lap. It's now his turn for a bit of flat out action. Oh, thank you, Semper, that's very kind. A couple of people like to joke in here that Sky Sports need to sign me up, but I'm not convinced. Anyways, Russ, 1/10 down in Sector 1, however, still plenty of opportunity in the second and third sectors to improve. Just 1/10 would put him into the safe zone, so Russ doesn't need an awful lot here. Appy and Matty, upcoming Karma, outlaps for them. We've also got Semp coming through Sector 3. He could be on a flying lap. We'll have to watch out for his time. Oh, Russ. Marginal gain through Sector 2 and then decides to... doesn't like that turn. And cutting more corners. Hopefully he knows that that is not in the rules. He is on an in-lap. Any of the management saw that. My apologies, it wasn't Semp coming to the end of his time, it was someone else. Oh, and a bit of oversteer on the curb there. Invalidated lap time. Still plenty of time for him to go on a new lap. Alpha Matty out on track. Oh, and Semp crashing. Bit too eager on the throttle out of the final corner, it looks like. Wing is off. And with only 3 minutes left of the session, it's looking unlikely, perhaps, that Semp can come into the pits and out again for another lap. So we'll have to watch out for him. He is in 9th, so at the moment he is making it through. But I'm sure people behind him, from Maverick downwards, will be putting on a set of the red mark soft tyres. Appy has done that and is a couple of tenths up in Sector 1. That will currently put him around the 11th place mark where Maverick is. I think Power Chris has just improved. Or is that Alpha Matty? I think Alpha Matty, sorry, has improved to P10. So both Aston Martins in the top 10 as it stands. Top 6 all in the pits, as is RPR Maverick, but still plenty of time left in the session if any of those 7 drivers want to come back out. Appy is almost half a second up now. And that will put him around Supermac and Power Chris in 7th or 8th. Me, Alrays and Appy did a 100% race around Russia earlier this afternoon. Very fun. Appy goes P3. I have to say, Padge's lap time looks almighty at the moment. A 1 minute 31.5, 8 tenths quicker than upcoming Karma, who's just improved to P2. Mark currently finds himself bottom of the leaderboard, but is on a lap. Maverick is in the pits, as is Semp. I think Maverick has just come out on track, so Maverick may get round for another lap here. But I think for Semp, that will be it. Didn't quite get into the pits quick enough to come back out again. And his teammate joins him in the pits, so both Aston Martins were safe. They're now both out of the session. Question is, will they stay 11th and 12th? Or will Maverick, Russ and Mark drop them down? Rhea, Spark and Chelsea not quite comfortable on their lap times. They're on the track as well. Mark improves to 8th. Nice lap there. Will he stay in the top 10 is the question. Power Chris is in the drop zone here and needs a good lap. His previous best was on a set of soft tyres, so there's no distinct advantage for him on this set. But he is 0.6 up, so this is a much better lap here from the McLaren driver. Oh, and out of the session goes Power Chris. He just saw a bit too much curb, bit eager on the throttle. Round his car went. Russ, I'm sure, would have seen that happen in front of his very eyes. He's half a second up in his own right through Sector 2 and improves to 11th, but that's not quite good enough for him. He will not make it through to Q3. The only person who could possibly make it here is Maverick. He did get round to start a lap time. He's a quarter of a second up in Sector 1. The only one that should be worried perhaps is Chelsea, who is the time to beat. If Maverick beats him, Chelsea will go down. However, Chelsea is out on a lap 2, so Chelsea can always improve his spot. Spark goes second, 1 minute 32.1 for the Williams driver. He's safe and through. Chelsea's used all of his ERS for this lap, runs wide at the final corner, gets away with the lap time being valid, improves by just a fraction, which does mean now APS Rhea is safe if he wants to abort his lap. He continues and goes second. Maverick now, all eyes on the Ferrari. Can he make it through? Yes, he can. P7th and sets the exact same lap time as Appy. So there you have it. Top 10 all within 1 second of each other. Padge currently setting the pace to beat. APS Rhea, both of them in the 1 minute 31s. Perhaps the ones to look out for pole position in Q3. We got Spark, Supermac on the mediums, quickest of the medium runners. So that is no easy feat. Upcoming Karma makes it through, as does his teammate Maverick in the Ferrari. The second Red Bull of Hyper on the mediums makes it through too. Only one Mercedes making it through to Q3. That is Appy, our championship leader. Tiami Deo in the Haas. Medium tyres for him too. And Mark, the only McLaren into the final part of qualifying. And as Q3 gets underway, strategy takes a backseat. Raw pace takes over. And let's get your predictions in chat for who you think is going to qualify on pole. Currently Padge has looked very quick. Let's not forget about Hyper. Let's not forget about Appy. Let's not forget about Rhea. All of them very quick in their own right. One good lap invalid, says Power Chris. Tank empty. Very easy to do that on that corner where we saw the McLaren spin and crash in the last sector. extremely easy to do that on this track, so have to be careful in the race not to repeat that feat. Upcoming Karma doesn't want to be head of the pack. He decides to let one of the Red Bulls go. Everyone out on the track. IIRL just waiting slightly, a minute. Try and get some good track position. Also, Dale in the Haas has some good track position, as does Appy in the Mercedes. 5 drivers in a big train. Interesting to see if any of them lose some downforce on their flying laps. It is Hyper out in front, taking charge of this session, it would seem. And it looked like he was coming into the pits there, but stays out. And starts this session. Hyper from Karma, from Appy. Next to start a lap is Spark, then Maverick in the second Ferrari, then Mark in the McLaren, or the McLaren we should say. Padge in the second Red Bull, and then Super Mac. Hyper pushing the limits of the track as far as he can without getting invalidated. Need to be very brave on a track like this. Certainly this looks like he's pushing every inch as far as he can. Predictions for Padge to be pole from Semper in the chat. Let us know your predictions in the chat too. We've got 8 minutes left of the session, and the times are going to come thick and fast very, very soon. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2, and I believe that is Spark, who has had an issue coming onto the DRS straight. Hyper goes fastest at 31.8. That would be good enough for P2 or P3 in qualifying 2. Uppy 32.6, Karma 32.5. Mark goes ahead of Appy. Maverick slots in behind Appy. Supermac goes second on a 32.1. Very nice lap there. What about Padge? He led in Q2. What about Q3? That's a slow lap from him, a 1:41. Dale beats Hyper to provisional pole. 1 minute 31.8 for him. IIRL, he did a 31.8 last session, and he does another 31.8 this time around, but slots in between Dale and Hyper. Spark pits, so he may have some damage. We know Padge is on a second run here, so we'll stay on board with Padge, and it seemed like the issues were in the first sector. He's almost 6 seconds up on his previous best. Perhaps fortunate not to get his lap invalidated there. We did see a bit of an extension of track limits, but maybe he lost time in that corner. We just don't know. We'll find out in a brief moment when the Sector 2 split will come in the top right hand corner of your screen. Hyper goes faster on a second run, improves by 4/10. And Padge is 8 seconds up on his time. That's on course for a 1 minute 33, so still a couple of seconds needed here if he wants to challenge Hyper for provisional pole. I think Padge wanted a slipstream there, but not enough room to get one. Across the line comes Padge, 31.7. Few tenths away from pole, but it is the 2 Red Bulls out in front. Maverick, I think, went for a second run just then and improved to 6th. So round 1 goes to Hyper. Five minutes left, still plenty of time for the 3 drivers on track to come into the pits and come out again for one final run, or maybe 2 runs. Of course, make the most of this track, lads. Won't be here for too long. In 2023 we'll be moving to St. Petersburg instead of Sochi, and all drivers in the pits at the same time. That is quite rare. You usually see 1 or 2 drivers go out in the middle of the session. And as Padge enters the pits, Tiamidale and a handful of drivers join him on an outlap. We've got Tiamidale in the Haas. We've got Supermac, Spark, Appy all out on track. Still plenty of time. No rush for the drivers. However, sometimes a little bit of track position in front of you sets your mind at rest a little bit. Don't have to worry about anyone in front of you. Although, this qualifying session might turn into a bit of a race with one of the Williams behind looking for that track position ahead of Dale. And Dale pushing pretty hard on his outlap to try and stay ahead here. I think that Williams might have to just sit back. That's Supermac, but he's not taking no for an answer. Hyper out on track 2 now. Supermac is going to have to back off. Supermac definitely wants the slipstream of the Haas driver now. And they both start their laps within a second of each other. We've got the second Williams of Spark starting a lap now. And here comes Appy to start his flying run. He's currently in 9th. For a lot of these drivers, a small gain will mean some positions gained. Appy, Mark and the 2 Ferraris within a 10th and a half of each other. And Padgedale and Rhea also within a 10th of each other. Even just small gains on your lap may not be the end of the world. They could gain some positions, some crucial positions for the start of the race. Interesting to see if certain drivers will settle for maybe 3rd or 4th on the grid. Tiamidale is fractionally down in Sector 2. But he did set a very good lap time on his first attempt. Dale pits, and Dale will start P3. Here comes Supermac now around the final corner, improves his time but not his place. He stays P5 and is joined on row 3 as it stands by his teammate Spark. Appy coming around the final corner now to come P7, but still an option for another lap if he wants it. We have Mark in Sector 3, all alone. He'll be starting a flying lap momentarily. Then we've got one of the Red Bulls of Hyper, who is a fraction up in Sector 2. Can he extend his grip on provisional pole here? He's already got 3/10 in hand on his teammate. But will that margin improve? It will. It's now 4/10 of a second. His grip on provisional pole. Hyper is flying right now. Padge has invalidated. And he's in a real fight here to start a new lap. Will he make it? No, he won't. Padge finishes in second place. Tierney Dale, we already know, is in the pits, so he will start third as it stands. But will he be displaced here by Rhea? Upcoming Karma finishes in seventh. Supermac can't improve and will start P5 on the grid. Spark comes into the pits. He will start sixth as it stands. We've got Rhea, Appy, Maverick and Mark all out on the track. APS Rhea goes second fastest ahead of Padge, splitting the Red Bulls. Nice lap here. Appy has invalidated. Into the pits he comes. Mark is 6/10 up and he needs to be here because this could be a huge gain for him. Could break into the top 6 here, and indeed he does, ahead of Spark, splitting the two Williams. Maverick is half a second up in the middle sector and looks on course to challenge Mark for 6th place. All eyes on Maverick, as it was in one of the previous qualifying sessions here this evening. Looks like Hyper perhaps has got pole position in the bag. We'll see if Maverick has anything to say about it. Round the final corner and improves to 6th. Displaces Mark at the death. Look how close that is between RPR Maverick in 6th and IIRL Appy, our championship leader, in 10th. Only a 10th and a half separating 6th to 10th places on the grid. But it is pole position this evening for Hyper in the Red Bull. 4/10 cushion. APS Rhea splitting the Red Bulls, starting on the front row of the grid. Hyper and Rhea won't get slipstream off the start though. Padge and Tierney Dale could be in the best spots on the grid. Supermac and RPR Maverick in the middle of the top 10 in 5th and 6th with big gains on their lap times. Mark and Spark on row 4. Upcoming Karma and Appy closing out the top 10. At the end of quali and before the race, we do ask the drivers to have a 5-minute break. It is mandatory. You will get a penalty if you fail to do so. Just gives all the drivers an opportunity to choose whatever tyre strategies, fuel loads they want. Clouded Tadpole struggling to connect to the session, it seems like, so we may have a bit of a lobby issue, but we'll wait and see about that. Let's hope that we don't have any lobby issues here this evening. And indeed, we have a few minutes until the drivers start their formation lap. We'll run you through the grid and their tyre choices when the formation lap happens. I'm just going to grab something in preparation for the race, so we'll have a couple minutes break. Some key battles to look out for on track here this evening. Appy leads the championship by 45 points, starting in P10. Not ideal for him. However, even if he fails to score this evening, he will guarantee himself at least a 19-point lead in the championship after this evening. Tadpole disconnecting, so that may be an ongoing issue. But a good fight happening around. We've got Hyper in second place in the championship. He leads Teamy Dale by 10 points, who leads Hissy by 11 points. Hissy starting near the back of the field, so he'll need to have a really strong result. Had a win in Great Britain and a second place in Hungary about a month ago, but needs a strong result here this evening if he wants to keep his hands on P4. APS Ria is hunting him down with 2 podiums in the last 3 races, so watch out for Ria. He is on a charge. Currently has 4 podiums this season, does APS Ria. Take her easy. Strong second place last week in Italy. He leads Supermac in the championship by just 5 points, so some interesting fights going up and down the fields. Thank you, Semper, that's very kind. We'll see what happens, I guess. As for the constructors, 58-point lead for the Mercedes team of Appy and Take Her Easy. So again, guaranteed to be leading the championship after today. Red Bull, currently first and third on the grid for the Russian Grand Prix. They are in second place with a very strong result in Belgium and Italy. 2 of the last 3 races. Drivers are starting to ready up now, so we're almost there. And a 1-point gap between third place AlphaTauri and fourth place Haas, so that could easily change hands. However, AlphaTauri have outscored Haas in the last 4 races, so watch out for Ria and Tadpole. However, Tadpole may struggle to connect to the session. Have to see if he's in. And as they lead away, as Hyper leads them away on the formation lap. Let's have a look at the tyres everyone will be using. It is a standard 1-stop here, soft to medium or medium to soft. If you see an early safety car, expect to see some drivers in for the hard tyre. They will go the duration of the race. However, for the top 10, they have no choice. The 3 drivers starting on mediums, Hyper, Dale and Supermac. The rest of the top 10 will have to start on the soft tyre they used in Q2. As for those outside the top 10, Chelsea and Russ on the soft tyre on row 6. On row 7, it's an all-medium row, Power Chris and Lil Semp. His teammate also copying strategy going on to the mediums. So Aston Martin needs to be careful they don't hold each other up in the pit stops. Zog and Tadpole on soft compound tyres, so watch out for them. Soft compound tyres do give you generically do give you a good start off the grid. And for the bottom 3, Hissy, Take Her Easy and Alrays starting on the more durable medium compound tyre. So Hyper looking to close the gap at the top of the championship standings. Appy, I'm sure, will be hoping for some gains up and down the field from his 10th place starting grid slot. It seems like Hyper wants to get a bit of a move on this formation lap. This point here is where the computer takes over, coming out of these corners. So that is the point in which you will need to have your tyres nice and toasty. before the very anxious wait. Hyper already on the grid, waiting. His tyres shouldn't cool down too much. However, it is always a bit of an anxious wait while you're waiting on the grid, hoping there's no lobby issues, hoping everyone can connect. Here comes IIRL now to make up the field. Clouded Tadpole isn't in his car at the moment. I think he is, but he won't have control on the start. But who does have control? It's the start of the Russian Grand Prix, and it looks like Paj has had a good start. Also, APS Ria taking the lead there. It seems like both Red Bulls may be struggling a little bit. Ria takes the lead and has quite a healthy margin going into turn 1. We've got Take Her Easy at the back, struggling with the start. IIRL is also having a really good start. And there goes RPR Maverick down the inside. He's made up a couple of places. And some big debris on the track here. Some drivers may have a lot of wing damage. Maybe some of those taking the wider line. Maybe they will lose downforce with some wing damage here. But lots of side-by-side action. These drivers are practically racing in NASCAR formation. Down the inside goes Mark on upcoming Karma. And still going side by side. Karma backs out of that one. Hoping that for him what goes around comes around and he can gain that place back. However, I think he may have some wing damage here and a bit of contact here between him and one of the Williams cars. And I think IIRL is round in the background and has lost a couple of seconds on the pack. Clouded Tadpole and Alpha Matti also struggling off their initial first laps. Happy is up to 7th off the start, and upcoming Karma with a big braking problem into that corner. And I think maybe he does have damage. We'll have to keep an eye on who goes into the pits. But so far so good for APS Ria. Had a perfect start and leads on the first lap. Remember, Hyper and Dale are on medium tyres here, so Ria could pull a gap on second and third. Into the pits comes Power Chris, upcoming Karma, Alpha Matti and Clouded Tadpole. 4 drivers there. You did see a lot of debris at turn 1. We're not quite sure what happened, but it was all a big mess of carbon fibre. Their front wings flying into the airs. Could easily have been a bit of a concertina. One incident leads to the next incident. Power Chris, Karma, Tadpole all on medium tyres. Alpha Matti is on the hard tyre. We see Russ now, who is on the back of Mark for 9th. Couple of gaps forming outside of the top 10. We've got Semp on the back of Zog behind and getting past Zog for 11th there, so Semp on the move. However, will Zog fight back? Looked like he might go for it. Semp left the door open, but Zog thought better of it. Oh, and Spark is round. From 6th place, Spark spins. Finds himself in 16th place now. Does Spark. We saw a couple of drivers spin there earlier in the week. Out in front, APS Ria leads. Maverick with the first time penalty of the evening. Currently in P5. Happy going a little bit wide there at turn 4 and now finds himself under pressure from Chelsea, Russ and Mark. In the last lap, Russ has got past Mark for 8th place. Wasn't going to be 9th place, but 8th place thanks to Spark's spin. It's early days, but let's have a look at the position changes. Bottom 5 have either all pitted or had a spin as Russ gets past Chelsea, and still they're going side by side into the chicane. Looks like Chelsea has just got the edge on Russ there. Mark not quite close enough to capitalise on this occasion. But the more that Chelsea and Russ fight, the more that Appy has a chance to escape from these two. Tierney Dale and now Padge with the fastest lap of the race. Upcoming Karma joins Maverick in the penalty gang. 3-second time penalty will be added onto their time at the end of the race. And down the outside goes Russ. And completes the move. Russ back up into 7th now. Change of hands for the leads. And it's all getting very close at the front here. Rhea has been overtaken now by Hyper. Power Chris with the new fastest lap. Dale and Padge. Still these two are going side by side. And you can only sense that Dale and Padge are going to capitalise here. Dale with a bit of a switchback. Rhea goes a bit too deep. Padge looking to sneak his way into the top 3. Hyper retaking the lead then. And it looks like Rhea struggling a little bit on this lap. We've got Appy up 4 places, Russ up 5. Chelsea is up 3 as Rhea goes deep into the heavy braking spot and falls to P4. And Maverick behind, who is defending now from Appy and Russ, I'm sure will be licking his chops to try and close up to the top 4, who all will have DRS on each other. Tierney Dale is up 2 now. Big gainer is Hissy. Up 7 places to 11th position. Tierney Dale didn't fancy that move. Hyper did leave the door open. Appy is now past Maverick. And that's for 5th, so Appy making moves here. And a bit of contact there between Padge and Dale. Looked like Dale just missed the apex. Padge got it spot on, but a bit too much speed. As a little bit of a nudge. Mark has retired, and that is at turn 4. And there's a full-course safety car out. Let's go on board with Spark and see if we can see what's happened. Oh, and Mark's into the wall there. So maybe trying to go side by side with another driver, or maybe just got his line rug into the corner, clipped the wall. Not quite sure what happened there. But Power Chris comes around to overtake his teammate. And now has the weight of the whole McLaren team on his shoulders here this evening. So Hissy now, thanks to Mark's retirement, is now up 8 places off the start. Always also keeping out of trouble. Good start from him. He's up 7. And only a few places away from some points here this evening. Take Her Easy's up 5. Oh, and it looks like a bit of damage there for Chelsea. Yep, 5-second penalty for a collision with Russ, as there are lots of people into the pits here. We did say look out for an early safety car. You could go onto the hard tyres and stay on them for the rest of the race. And that is precisely what Chelsea is doing in the Williams team. And indeed, the front wing being changed. We just saw a little bit of his front wing come off. It shouldn't matter too much because the safety car will bunch the field up. So that has shaken everything up. The top 8 yet to pit, and that is why 6 of them have gained positions, big positions, off their start. Only Supermac and Hyper are where they are now from where they started. Mark in chat, someone crashed into me going into turn 1. Gave me massive underbody damage. Car was undrivable. Lost it in turn 3 because of the damage. That is very unfortunate. Always a shame when that happens. Perhaps if you send it into the stewards can have a look. And the tyre graphic on the screen, top 8 all haven't pitted, we know that much. 3 drivers opting for the hard tyres, Maverick, Russ and Chelsea. We've got Padri and Appy all on mediums. Spark and Alpha Matti both on mediums too. And Alrays has had a bit of a spin through the chicane and has lost a lot of places. Was in top 8, now finds himself in 15th. Just waiting on Matty and Tadpole to catch back up. Before the safety car will make its return into the pits and we can get underway racing again. A nice little breather for us. More for me. Chatting away as I usually do. Oh, and is that a collision behind safety car? Could have just been a near miss there for Hyperdale and Semp. Collide on the safety car with another driver, you will get a 5-second time penalty, which you'll either serve in your next pit stop or will be added onto your finishing time. So you don't want a 5-second time penalty in the back of your mind to contend with too. You've got 18 other drivers to worry about. Still early stages of this race, still plenty more racing. Remember, the top 7 must pit, but for the likes of Padria, Appy, Maverick, Russ and Chelsea, from 8th place to 13th, they necessarily don't have to pit again. They may choose to, but certainly Maverick, Russ and Chelsea do not have to pit again, which means they've already got a 20-second head start on the top 7 drivers who will have to pit. So those 6 drivers in the middle of the pack may have got their strategy absolutely spot on, but of course safety car could come out in the future. It provides the top 7 with an opportunity to pit and not lose as much time in doing so. Just have to wait and see. Any questions? And we will get the answers throughout the course of the race. The pack is now bunched up, which means the safety car will be in this lap. Just awaiting drivers to come round sector 2 where they are now. Clouded Tadpole has opted for the soft tyre, so may have a little bit more extra pace off the start. Watch out for him, he's currently 19th, nothing to lose at the back of the field. And many places in front of him that I'm sure he has his eye on. Safety car in this lap, confirmation. Hyper is now the safety car in his own right. He decides when he goes. Safety car coming into the pit entry. Needs to probably wait a few more fractions. So any time from now Hyper could put his foot down, but it's up to him when he goes. Round turn 17, and Supermac has a 5-second time penalty for a collision with Zog. Hyper's got a really good exit out of the final corner here. Timmy Dale has dropped back a little bit. Upcoming Karma has retired, and I think he's spun out of the final corner here. Because the pack is so bunched and going through sector 1, I don't think there'll be a safety car. Lil Semp with a time penalty and is dropping down the boards, and you can see spun there at the first couple of corners. So Semp having a strong start to this race. Maybe a mistake into turn 2, or maybe some contact with another driver, we just don't know. He finds himself down in 16th place and needs a good strong drive from here on out if he wants some points for the Aston Martin team here this evening. Out in front, Hyper already has a second gap on TME Dale, which means that on lap 3 of the safety car restart, Dale will not have the benefits of DRS. Chris, right behind Chelsea, goes for the move down the insides. Enough space is left by both drivers. Good respect there. Russ still trying to get past Chelsea. Chelsea is on newer tyres. Now, you see Padge with a beautiful exit out of the final corner. Look at that. McLaren going a little bit wide there of Chris. As Semp comes into the pits, so maybe some damage for him. Padge with a beautiful entry, exit of the final corner, getting past Take Her Easy, who is on old mediums. And now Padge has his eyes set on the back of Zog. Our race has also retired, but he's done so in the pits, which means there won't be a safety car, and it looks like Take Her Easy look to have gone for the move there. Oh, and they're 3 wide. Ria, Zog, Appy now capitalising on a couple of places here. And my goodness, I was not expecting to see 3 drivers side by side in that corner. It looks like maybe there's some damage for Take Her Easy. And again, they're 3 wide. Could even be 4 wide at this point. There is so much happening down this back straight. I don't even know where to start. 6 cars all within millimetres of each other here. Chelsea and Russ having a bit of contact. Spark round the outside now of Take Her Easy, who really is struggling and probably has a lot of damage. Chelsea now fighting back on Russ. A bit of wheel contact. Russ has to back out. Power Chris now round the outside and up into 11th place. And wide into turn 17 goes Chris. Manages to stay ahead of Russ. But for how much longer? Take Her Easy does come into the pit, so he does have damage. Spark we saw getting up into 13th, now dropping to 14th. Alpha Matti has capitalised on that. Zog losing a place to Maverick. Zog's tyres probably close to hitting a bit of a cliff. And Russ also losing places. Alpha Matti is up into 12th and having a good lap or two is Alpha Masi. Power Chris running a little bit wide yet again. Alpha Masi looking up the inside, lost a bit of momentum there, not taking the corner as designed, but sticks it round the outside of that left-hander, and I have to say that is a brilliant defensive move to stay ahead of the Alfa Romeo behind. Up front we've got Supermac and Hissy exchanging places. Supermac up into the podium places. We've also got Padge side by side with Hissy. So Hissy, after losing a place to Supermac, close perhaps to losing a place to Padge, who has APS rear all over his gearbox. DRS is enabled. Padge has it, and you can just tell that Hissy doesn't there. No rear wing benefits for Hissy. He loses out on 4th, and may lose out on 5th here. Rear down the inside of the Alpine. Pretty routine move from our perspectives. So Rhea is matching Padge move for move here and is following Padge through the field. Hyper leads by 1.4 seconds. Tiamideo is in second. Supermac is in third. However, those three all need to pit, which means Padge currently in the net lead of the race. Rhea does have DRS on Padge. Is he close enough to make a move on the Red Bull here? Nope, not quite. Have to wait for a future occasion. Padge is gaining on Supermac for third. The DRS detection. Zog has retired. And that is in Sector 3, around where Spark had his spin. And there you see it. Oh, in fact, his car is in the middle of the racing line there. And there's bits of front wing everywhere. That's going to bring out a safety car. No surprises. And this could be music to Hissy and the top three. As we know, those four drivers definitely need to pit again. Well, haven't pitted in the first place. They definitely need to pit. And this could be a prime opportunity to do so. But of course, they need to use two different compounds of tyre. So they can't go onto a set of mediums for the rest of the race here. They have to go on to either soft or the hard compound tyre. I think at this point it's probably more likely they'll go onto the hard tyres, as Power Chris has done this lap and Take Her Easy has done last lap. Or they could stay out and wait for the window to put on a set of soft tyres. But if there's no more safety cars in this race after this one, they may lose out on a prime opportunity to pit and lose just a fraction of time. Lil Semp, 3-second time penalty on a recovery drive after some damage into turn 2 and a new set of tyres for him. This safety car will be, I'm sure, a very welcome one for Semp. Hyper onto the soft tyres, where he may hope to stay for the rest of the race. Supermac also onto the softs. Tiamideo, sorry, onto the softs. Supermac joins them in fitting the red tyres. And I'll tell you what, Hyper, Dale and Supermac may find themselves in the lower end of the points, but they do have a big tyre advantage now. Padge leads this race. Ria and Appy are on the podium. Hissy has stayed out. Hissy does need to make a minimum of one mandatory pit stop. Maverick on the hard tyre finds himself up into P5. Alpha Matti, again, capitalising on some pit stops. In 6th, in the Aston Martin. Chelsea in 7th. Spark in 8th. Then we have the 3 drivers on the soft tyre. Hyperdale and Supermac. Power Chris and Take Her Easy on the hard tyres. They're in 12th and 13th. Russ wanting to close up to the field. Clouded Tadpole with a time penalty trying to catch up to the pack. Ilsemp also onto the soft tyre, so watch out for his safety car restart. And Tadpole currently at the back of the field. 16 runners. Mark with a crash into turn 3, out of turn 3 into turn 4. Upcoming Karma off that safety car restart, spinning at the final corner and crashing out. Auray's retiring in the pit lane, and Zog just a few moments ago with his own retirement. Padge almost breaking the in-game rules, overtaking the safety car. If you overtake the safety car and fail to let it back through, you will be disqualified. So you don't want to do that. Take Her Easy sporting a white and blue helmet in memory of Sir Frank Williams, who, in case you don't know, has passed away today, just a few hours ago, at the age of 79. Will be missed by many. Thoughts and prayers go out to their family and friends. I believe Aurays has a special helmet too. Has retired already, so we can't have a look at that. Zog in the chat says hello and says my wheel keeps disconnecting, and that could be why he's retired. That's a wheel issue. Safety car is in this lap. We will get back underway. We've had 2 safety cars in this race so far. Hyper in the Red Bull led the safety car restart previously, and it seemed to be absolutely spot on. Padge now has the power. Gone for it out of turn 17, pulls to the right hand side of the track, now the left, trying to break the slipstream from the cars behind. Ria and Appy are within reach. It looks like Hissy is his medium tyres are certainly getting to the point now where they're just a little bit past their use by date. Chelsea with a time penalty, I believe that's his 2nd of the evening. Lap 16 of 27, there are 11 laps remaining, including this one. Which means Hyper, Dale and Supermax shouldn't have to worry about tyre wear too much. They may have to manage them a little bit. Can't go flat out, although Tierney Dale is right on the back of Hyper, as both of them are trying to get past Spark for 8th place. We've got RPR Maverick going wide there, I think was Hissy. Got Spark on the back of Chelsea now. And Hyper thinking better of a lunge down the outside. Spark missing the apex. Hyper around the outside. Spark now getting passed by Tiemi Dale. 2 places in 2 corners lost for Spark there, and Hyper looking to capitalise on Alpha Matti. Side by side, they are completely alongside, need to give each other room. Hyper down the inside. Chelsea lets that one go. Now Tiemi Dale looking for a good exit off the final corner to try and make his way past Chelsea. Got Alpha Matti on the back of Maverick. Down the inside goes the Aston Martin. I have to say, Alpha Matti has been very impressive since that one incident which sent him to the back of the field. Alpha Matti on a charge. Bit of a wiggle there into turn 4. Has got that move done on Maverick, and Hyper really is looking racy here this evening. On those soft tyres, a little bit of a nudge for Maverick into turn 5. And a little bit of a weave there. That might be to just apologise to the Ferrari driver behind. Hadge leads APS rear by 9/10 of a second. Giuseppe is currently past the 1 second window that he needs to be in if he wants DRS on this next lap. Hissy keeping hold of 4th place, and I have to say, is doing a fabulous job to defend his 4th from a wide range of drivers you can see in the background, all gunning for his place. Hissy comes into the pits for his mandatory pit stop, and I'm sure Hissy will be onto the soft tyres for the remainder of the race. Hyper now is released into 4th place and has a 4.7 gap to close to Appy if he wants to be on the podium here this evening. Alpha Matti is going with him. Hyper isn't dropping him. Spark, 3-second time penalty. Chelsea also into the pits along with Hissy. Alpha Matti a 3-second time penalty. Tiemi Dale will get through on penalties as it stands, but I'm sure with such a good tyre advantage he'll want to make that move done sooner rather than later. We've also got Supermac now, last of those 3 soft tyre runners we mentioned. He's on the back of RPR Maverick for 7th. Tiemi Dale very close to Alpha Matti and alongside, and is ahead as Supermac looks to get past Maverick. Tiemi Dale has now 2 cars between him and Supermac. Supermac's teammate Spark is behind. Not teammate behind, sorry, they're in 2 different cars. Different shade of blue. Got little Semp making his way past Chris. Chris, though, sticks it round the outside. Keeps his position. Good defending there from Chris. However, Semp will have DRS on the McLaren. And that McLaren running low on electrical energy that he can deploy. Chris looking to squeeze. Semp looking to squeeze. Side by side now into turn 2. Semp backs off the move. Power Chris forced to cut the corner. Gets a 3-second time penalty. And now Semp looking to fight back. Looking to have the inside line for turn 4. Shoves it down the inside. Side by side. Chris again defends around the outside. This is a strong showing from Chris on his debut. Again, Semp looking for the move. A little bit of lag there perhaps. Bit of a wiggle. Some good hard racing here this evening. Hyper dropping that gap, says Ross. As in front we have Alpha Matti getting overtaken by Supermac. So now we have that formation of Hyperdale and Supermac. We have that back. Hyper has closed up to Appy. It was 3.7 seconds, so Hyper did gain a second, but I think Appy has lost a couple of seconds this lap. And now finds himself only a second behind Appy, and his progress is halted as Semp has crashed, and there is a third safety car. It's a shame for Semp. He was looking promising for him. Hissy, drive-through penalty. Speeding under safety car. He can't serve it in the pits during a safety car, so I don't know if that's what he's trying to do, but you can't do that, unfortunately. Take her easy, Hissy. Tadpole into the pits. And this is a big blow for the top three. Hyper, Dale, Supermac have a massive tyre advantage at this stage in the race. Timmy Dale and Russ both picking up drive-through penalties, and I think a couple of others may have joined them. Yeah, so Hissy, Russ, Timmy Dale, all with drive-through penalties, and that is going to set them back to the back of the field once this race gets back underway. That is a big blow for Timmy Dale, who is looking in a good spot maybe for a podium at this point. But this is a big blow here for Padge, for Rhea and Appy, although Appy does pit, so I'm sure Appy will be onto a set of soft tyres. Dale and Supermac into the pits. Dale can't serve his drive-through. Don't know if that's his intention, but he can't serve it in the pits under safety car. Maverick now with a drive-through. 4 drivers with a drive-through penalty that they have to serve once this safety car has gone in. That is 4 drivers, and now Maverick with a 5-second time penalty for a collision with Spark. Spark gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, and that is because he has no front wing. So I wonder if Spark has gone into the back of Maverick at some point. Maverick's then got a time penalty for the collision. Spark's lost his front wing. What on earth is happening? I have to say, it's been a thrilling race. It's not been one of the most entertaining races I've ever seen up until this point. Safety cars have perhaps ruined some of the progress that the drivers were doing. But it certainly wasn't a boring race. Spark has, I believe, crashed, and we know he hasn't got a wing, and yep, there you see it. Spark out of the race. That will probably keep the safety car out maybe a lap longer. Yeah, certainly not a boring race, but for a lot of these drivers, their progress has been very much stop-start, stop-start. And the 2 drivers mostly upset by this, I'm sure, will be Padge and Rhea, who have been out in the lead of this race for the best part of 10 laps. Hyper now has a real good opportunity as Maverick and Russ pit. Hyper has a good opportunity here to steal the win off of his teammate. Let's not forget, Hyper is second in the championship. Padge with the podium last week in Italy, looking set for another podium here this evening. Hello, Sue Philosopher. Hope you are well. This is the Assist Tier 2 race, the Russian Grand Prix. Next week, on Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday, we have coverage of the Singapore Grand Prix, of which I'm sure the safety car will be very, very busy. So join us 7:30 PM GMT for the No Assist Tier 1 coverage of the Singapore Grand Prix here in IIRL. Clouded Tadpole, I believe, is a lap down. And finds himself in the middle of the pack between Appy and Dale. He should ghost, which means Dale shouldn't have too much of a problem trying to get past Clouded Tadpole. Safety car is now in this lap. It's a bit of a late call, but it is what it is. Padge now, can he keep hold of a race win that has looked quite likely all evening? He's been very fast in qualifying. He made a good strategy call in the first safety car by pitting. He led away from the second safety car restart. He leads away from the third safety car restart. Team Dale now into the pits, as is Maverick to serve their drive-through. Hissy joins them. Padge using his DRS, I'm sure, his ERS, excuse me, to stay ahead of Rhea and Hyper. And now the question is, with 5 laps of this race left, can Hyper get onto the top step of the podium? Is he going to challenge Rhea and his teammate for the win? Alpha Matty and Power Chris in 4th and 5th, having good recovery drives from their perspective. They do have time penalties, which means Appy has prime opportunity here to get up to P4, and if he does it quick, may have a chance to fight these 3 for a podium as well. Appy is our championship leader by 45 points, so he will lead the championship at the end of the day. But by how much? As it stands, Hyper is getting 15 points, Appy is getting 8 points, so the gap will go down by 7. Appy has a nice bit of breathing room behind. You can see Superman has dropped back by a second, which means Appy now has a chance to attack. Russ is into the pits. Lap 24 of 27, getting to crunch parts of this race. Power Chris missing the apex of turn 4, lets Appy in, bit of wheel contact, and Appy is now lost out to Supermac. So Supermac was a second behind Appy, closed up that gap and has capitalised on a tiny bit of contact. Oh, and Padge is out! What has happened to Padge? Oh, and he's spun there. There's a virtual safety car, which means the drivers have to slow down. And there's a full safety car. Now that is surprising, with only 3 laps left. There's a full safety car. And this is playing into the hands of APS Rhea, who I'm sure will want this safety car to be out as long as possible. But Padge, from the lead of this race, has had the pace to win this evening, undoubtedly. No surprises if he won here this evening, but Padge, with just 3 laps left, has retired and will score nothing for the Red Bull team. This promotes everyone up a place. Russ is now into the points. Tierney, Dale, Russ, Maverick and Hissy, who all serve drive-throughs, they will now be bunched up to the field if they can close in time, and could be given a lifeline to try and gain some more places before the end of this race. Alpha Matti, Chris and Supermac all have penalties. There you can see it, 3 seconds for that trio. Chelsea has 6 seconds, as does Maverick. Tadpole's a lap down and has a penalty. That won't make too much difference. So for the likes of Take Her Easy, definitely will be getting past Chelsea on penalties as it stands. But Appy could be in line here to jump up from 6th to 3rd if he stays within 3 seconds of Alpha Matti. And I wonder, is the safety car going to be coming in this lap? Towards the end of the race, the safety car becomes less common. The safety car is in this lap, which means Hissy and Maverick have to really push down the back straight to catch up to the back of the pack before the safety car comes in. APS rear now, 18 laps he's been on those mediums. He needs to do a couple more laps out in front of this race, and I'll tell you what, with only a few laps left, they may only get DRS on this final lap of the race. So Hyper needs to stick behind Rhea in these next 2 laps and try and make a move maybe into turn 2 on the final lap of the race. If his Rhea goes for it, and with only 2 laps left, I am mistaken, sorry, they will not have DRS. It is all down now to overtake. That overtake button that they can press and hold to gain them more power. A little bit of a corner cut there for Matty and Chris, who already have 3 seconds. They need to be really careful they don't get another penalty in the last 2 laps. Hyper and Rhea. Now this is the fight for the lead and the win. Side by side, Rhea defending his line with brilliant technique there. Hyper biding his time perhaps, waiting for a better opportunity. Hissy has passed Maverick for 11th. Supermac with a penalty needs to make it past Alpha Matti if he wants any hope of being on the podium here this evening. He can't get past Aston Martin, however that Aston Martin with a bit of a wiggle keeps enough traction to stay ahead into turn 15 and 16. Everyone is bunched up, which means time penalties are going to be huge. And talking of time penalties, Hyper has just got one. His hope for winning this race perhaps has just been extinguished. APS rear, I'm sure, will look down. He can see 4 drivers behind him, all with 3 seconds of time penalties. APS rear must be licking his lips right now. Supermac forced off the track. Oh, and contact! Chelsea, and I think Take Her Easy. I think it's Take Her Easy who had a bit of a spin, maybe some damage coming off in the background. Supermac definitely cut the corner at turn 2, gained a bit of an advantage on Alpha, and gains 3rd place here. And what has happened to Appy? I think Appy may have got caught up with something in his teammate. Hissy from out of nowhere, he's up to 6th place. Appy now struggling, he's losing out to his teammate, and now Russ is smelling a fresh overtaking opportunity here. Side by side now with Appy. Last lap of the race, remember. APS Ria leads. Hyper has a time penalty. Appy, more contact. He's out of the points now. Appy's been caught up in a few incidents. And he's lost out on some points. Ria crosses the line and takes a fabulous victory. Hyper with that 3-second time penalty at the death, misses out on the win, but keeps hold of second. Supermac takes home a podium. Hissy, incredible recovery drive from 18th to P4. A night of so nearlies and almosts for a lot of these drivers. Great drive there from Hissy, who I think gains 14 places here this evening. Absolutely fabulous effort. Power Chris on his debut. Struggled at first, but a great last stint of this race. He finds himself in P5 and with some decent points for McLaren. Take her easy from 19th to 6th. Alpha Matti again, a good drive. Russ, Dale, Appy finds his way into the points as Chelsea drops out on penalties. Maverick also a couple of penalties and he misses out on some points. Clouded Tadpole, last of the classified runners. So closes for Padge. Looked almost a certainty for a race win here this evening. But a late crash has halted his progress. Spark, Semzog, Alrays, Karma and Mark all failing to finish. One of our longer races here in the season, 50 minutes with 4 safety cars. And I have to decide on driver of the day. Gosh, that is going to be a hard one. Certainly Hissy deserves a special mention. I think I'm going to give driver of the day to APS Ria. When I think of who's absolutely driven the socks off that car and who's made as few mistakes as possible, I think look no further than the AlphaTauri of APS Ria. Ria wins and gets driver of the day in the process. Special mentions, Take Her Easy and Hissy for massive gains up the field. So there you have it. Congratulations to the podium. Congratulations to Ria for driver of the day. That will conclude our week's racing of IIRL. Russia is gone. Singapore is up next. Join us on Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday nights next week for the no assist division, the assist tier 1 and the assist tier 2. Until then, have a brilliant rest of the day, have a good couple of days, and we'll see you on Tuesday evening.